Morning Splash.
Morning Splash.
Well, hi there. Good morning to you. Welcome to Friday morning on Splash 105.5 FM. 31st day of March 2023. Yes, it's the final day of the month. Tomorrow is going to be April Fool's Day. You've got to be psychologically prepared for that one so that people don't take advantage of you. Because I see a lot of mischief going around, and a lot of people will take advantage of the official pranks day, if you like, to prank a lot of people. So be on the alert or be on your guard and make sure that nobody outsmarts you as far as that's concerned. I know you can get carried away. Trust me, the fact that I remember now does not mean I will remember when I wake up tomorrow morning, but I'm just putting it out there so you know that it's 1st of April tomorrow, and you know how mischievous we can get on the day. Anyway, welcome to the show. Abridged version of the Straight from the Daily segment is what you're having here for this morning. That's what happens every Friday morning, actually. I'm Charity Jerome. The only difference is that this morning we have less than 10 minutes. So let's make it count, shall we? Headlines from Nigerian newspapers this morning. We're going to be back, Shiung and I, at 8 a.m. for a more in-depth conversation. And we will not be focusing on only the headlines for this morning, but the news headlines that have made big conversations throughout the entire week. I hope that you can join us when that time comes. But for now, the Sun newspaper is my first port of call. And we've got this headline here that says interim government plot, allegation ploy to arrest opposition. That's coming from Atiku. And I was hoping to take that story for you first off before we go to other stories, because yesterday it was all about the DSS's allegation, and I said at this point it seems a little more than an allegation, right? But the Sun newspaper this morning is reporting that Atiku is saying that the interim government plot allegation ploy is just a ploy to arrest the opposition. Labour Party is saying we're not part of insurrection plans. Such plan will be a major setback, according to Akukba. Those are some of the writers to that story. But going into the story now, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party has challenged the Department of State Services, DSS, to disclose the identities of those planning to install an interim government. On Wednesday, the secret police, in a statement by its spokesperson, said it had uncovered a ploy by some key players to install an interim government and stop the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu from being inaugurated. But Atiku, in a statement by his media aide, Timmy Frank, alleged that the alarm of the plot to prevent Tinubu from being sworn in as president was a calculated move to arrest the PDP presidential candidate and Peter Obi of the Labour Party and clamp down on protesters before May 29. Yeah, so I'm going to leave it there. Any other thing that's being reported is something that we already know. Yeah, so that's the development to the story, at least one development to this story. And it's up on the Sun newspaper if you want to check it out for more details. Still on the Sun, you have Nigerians in the U.S. secure permit to protest over February 25th elections. Robbers loot 30 million naira goods at Lagos shopping complex. Court awards 30 million naira cost against ex-PDP chairman's wife for locking up aide in dog's cage. Whoa. OT warns against employment racketeering in Abia. You also have NAFDAC links cancer, organ failure to bleaching creams. I'm going to take a line out of this, or a few lines, just for your enlightenment, or at least information. Let's see what the NAFDAC is saying. As far as the story is concerned, the National Agency for Food, Drug and Drug Administration and Control has attributed the spike in cancer and organ failure in the country to increasing use of bleaching creams by Nigerians. This is, as the agency said, a national cosmetic safety policy will soon be released. The agency's Director General, Professor Moji Adeye, stated this yesterday in Enugu, while the story is not, some parts of it were trimmed off, so I can't see the first few words to start out the sentence. But NAFDAC is saying, well, more and more Nigerians are using bleaching creams. That's why more and more Nigerians are having to deal with organ failure and cancer. All right. Wonder what you think of that. To the Daily Trust newspaper we move now, and we've got this one here that says Labour cautions federal government on petrol subsidy removal. I wonder which of the federal government Labour is cautioning, because is it the outgoing one or the incoming one, really? But the story has it that the organized labor has cautioned the federal government against petrol subsidy removal, vowing to resist the move if it is not carried along. The president and the secretary general of the Trade Union Congress gave the caution in separate charts with Daily Trust on Thursday. All right, so that's that. We don't have much time, so let's move. Police grill National Assembly officials over 500 million naira misappropriation. Dangote lists 300 billion naira bonds on Nigerian exchange FMDQ to finance refinery. We also have Matawale, how soldiers worked against my re-election. Okay, that's the Daily Trust. Down to the Vanguard newspaper. Students, teachers injured as suspected herdsmen storm Oyo school. Of course, you know I have to take this one. The Vanguard is reporting the suspected herdsmen allegedly invaded community grammar school Alarokwe Nla, forgive me, in Orire local government area of Oyo State yesterday, and injured students and teachers in the process. Vanguard reliably gathered that the herders, numbering over 20, allegedly invaded the school with their cattle and injured some of the students and teachers, including one Mr. Paul Olabode, inflicting wounds on them with swords and machete cords, while many others were left with broken legs and hands. The source disclosed that the school had just finished morning devotion and students were preparing to settle for their second term examination when the herdsmen invaded the school farm with their cows grazing mindlessly on the crops. I do know that the police, great, so let's get to the part. The police has reacted, and according to the police, they say that the allegation is false. The police command in Oyo State has debunked an allegation of alleged herdsmen invasion. Debunking the report, the command spokesperson said that nothing of such happened in the school and nobody was injured as being alleged. He said that the herdsmen were peacefully grazing their cattle outside the vicinity of the school and people began to raise a false alarm. That's what you have on that story. And then there's also this big headline about the PDP reversing suspension of IM, Fayoshe and others. That's on the Vanguard newspaper and other newspapers. 10 minutes is over. I've got to go. Sharon and I will be back 8 o'clock to talk about the news this week long, right? For now, we have commercials and sports at 7:30. Good morning. Don't go away.
Morning Splash. Morning Splash.
Morning Splash. As the sun sets, you know it'll soon be iftar. What will be on your family's table? Some delicious homemade recipes prepared with love? With 5 Alive, every sip is